Meet the Boss is brought to you by General Electric.
So let's talk about Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, the entrepreneur. That's one side of your life I would say has been, I don't know if it's hidden or if it's deliberate that it's hidden, but we found out that you own a group of companies. And how did you juggle that with Joy FM at that particular point? So, yeah.
I'm a sucker for structures and systems, so I believe very much in building systems that will deliver value, whether you're here or not. So I think right from the onset, we had very clear vision in our mind of what we wanted to do. And what we wanted to do was to build one company, which is an investment and advisory services company, to provide something that I thought and I still think is missing in the economy of Ghana. A lot of equity capital and management advisory service to support young entrepreneurs to succeed. And that's what we've done, by putting money into a number of investee companies and supporting their executive management teams so that they make the right decisions and then they're able to succeed. And I think what we did from scratch was to build a structure that allows us to get the best brains around the table to help us know what to do at every time.
You were hosting the morning show at that particular time?
Yes, I was. But again, with the help of my father, with the help of other people, some of my bosses around here who have been with us, we've been able to put that structure in place, and we try to take it a day at a time.
Okay, so how many companies does Kojo Oppong Nkrumah run now?
I run only one company. It's called Brownstone Capital.
Okay,
Brownstone has made investments in a number of other companies, and we are working with their management teams to
Was it deliberate to keep it on the low?
I don't see why sometimes people make there's a traditional thing. Somebody has a baby and has a huge outdooring. They block the street, huge outdooring, and it's a party just to outdoor the baby. But you haven't thought about how to pay the baby's school fees and maybe an education fund for the baby, which university is the baby going to go to, and you're spending all the money up front. So I don't really see why we make so much noise at the beginning of things.
Okay, so Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, the politician, and that's the part that excites people most.
Really?
Yes.
I thought people didn't like that part of me.
Well, so the excitement may be negative and positive, a blend of the two. But at what point did you decide to get into politics?
To get into active partisan politics.
Partisan politics.
I think that was a while before the MPP primaries, because I've been a political animal for many years. Latently, I've been supporting the party that I have always identified with and subsequently became a member of. That was the MPP. But I think before the MPP primaries, by that time I had left radio. I had just finished my LLB, and I was spending more time out of Accra, back at home in the village, and we had opportunity to engage and talk. And here you are, you come and you are giving advice. I think they should do this way. I think they should do that this way, and I think they should do this way. And in one of the conversations, one of the elders that we work with is like, you can't always be sitting there paying money and giving advice. We need people like you to get involved. And he made a very strong point to me that, listen, and I believe his argument, that one of the biggest problems we have in our country is that those who think they know, those who have been endowed with a bit more knowledge and resource, they sit on the fence and point fingers and say all of these guys are useless, they can't do it, and they don't do anything about it. And he said to me two words that finally energized me. He says, get involved. And I thought about it. I spent time with the people I talked to, got a lot of advice, and I decided to throw in my hat and get involved.
Who are we talking about when you say the one of the leaders in the party?
No, I mean at my constituency level. One of my executives, I won't be mentioning names, but one of my executives at the constituency level, because that's why I played my politics. I wasn't even playing at the national office, because I think that all politics is local, all work is at the grassroots. Everything must be done down there. It's not so much noise.
Less than a year to get into the race?
To run a campaign, I had about 4 weeks to run a campaign and to win. But I think I had the goodwill and the support of.
We'll come to the strategy later. But what would you say to someone who says, oh, okay, so when we used to suspect him on radio that he was NPP, then he was actually MPP. Have you thought about that? That people will then start in their own way feeling vindicated?
Well, they're entitled to their vindication, but then what would they also say about all of those who sat there and said he's NDC?
Yeah.
What would they say about that? You know, your job is to call a spade a spade, and sometimes the MPP won't like you for calling the spade a spade, and sometimes the NDC or the PPP or the CPP won't like you, but you don't buckle to anybody's whims and caprices. You do what you believe must be done, and let posterity judge you. So again, I say to those people, the jury's out there. If anybody thinks that I was parochial in my work, let him say so and let him bring the evidence.
I'm sure there are other sides of that feeling as well, especially when you did the presidential debates, the IEA presidential debates, with the issue with the NPP flag bearer, the Akufo-Addo wanting to rebut a concluding remark by one person. So you have that balance in there.
I tried to do my work to the best of my ability. I think the jury is out there. Posterity will judge me for the work I did.
So why did you enter? And before you even answer that, what are some of the interesting things you heard when after the whole world knew that you were going to run on the NPP tickets? What were some of the interesting good things?
I think I saw a poster that somebody did online that says, and I think this was after my primaries when one of my colleagues who handles my communication did a nice design for us, which we sent out to say thank you, let's get to work. And somebody changed it and said, thank you, let me chop some. I heard people make comments that he also wants to go and chop the money some. That's why I stand there.
That's the natural thing that comes to most people's minds when someone says they want to enter politics. You think it's bad that we think that way?
I think that we've seen a lot of examples that give us a right to think that way, but I like to see somebody's work and then judge him by it. So I'll say
the key question is, why did you enter politics?
So I have chosen to be involved because all my life there's a common thread in many of the things I do. I like to make impact. In the various scenarios in which I find myself. I like to stimulate growth. I like to stimulate advancement.
Still in politics, do you feel the pressure that people say, okay, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah is one of the people who used to ask tough questions about politicians in terms of how things are done, the status quo. Let's see how he does it.
I am not oblivious to that fact. I know people will be looking out for what mistakes I make, and we'll be looking out for the fact that I may or may not be very different from the things I've been talking about. And I am committed to doing my best to fulfill my promises and to bring about a stepping up of the game in my own little corner that I can. But I don't let it pressure me. I'm a very focused person. So I'm going to keep my eye on the ball and focus on what I need to do so that when time comes for judgment, I will not have disappointed, the many young people especially who look up to me.
Have you had some epiphany of some sort that, when I was on radio and I was criticizing people or asking tough questions of the politicians, drawing certain conclusions, wait a minute, the real game is different. I kind of understand why the politician seems to look like what they look like. Have you come to that epiphany and say it's a total ball game altogether?
Not yet.
So you think that all the things we criticize politicians for, they really can do something about them?
I believe that we can do a lot more than we are doing. That's why I'm here.
So folks, that was Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. I'm sure you miss him on the Super Morning Show. He misses you as well, but now he says he's coming up with more and better. Let's keep watching the young man. He says he's a young man, so let's keep watching him. Let's see what he comes up with. I say he will run for president sometime He says, well, let's take it a day at a time. As we meet the boss, my name is Emmanuel Quest. Thank you so much for watching.